welcome to the Meredith Show, and be prepared to be inspired. I am so excited because our guest, Vikki Downey, is not only a proud police wife, she's $1 million earner, and I am thrilled to share not only her story of becoming a business coach, but how she retired her husband 9 years early. Welcome to the show, Vikki Downey.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's thrilling to have you because your story has so many points that truly show that you shine. And you know that my viewers and my audience love a good inspirational story. So thank you for being with us. And for everybody watching at home, you literally started your world of entrepreneurship. And I find this really impressive. At a super young age, 23, you had your first business. What was it?
Yes. Not very feminine. It was an automotive accessory store.
I love that.
I know.
How cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was my boyfriend at the time. We met in college, and he started an automotive accessory store, window tint, car stereo, alarm. This is in the 80s. And yeah, we started our business together. And at 23, and he was 24, we bought our first house.
Wow.
Yeah, without our parents helping us.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Super inspiring to begin with. And you had some big success with your business. It's not easy, I know, from owning a company to even qualify to buy a house. So you had to be doing very nicely.
Right.
And then you mentioned to me when we talked a little bit that there were some peaks and valleys, and entrepreneurship wasn't always easy for you, especially around the Gulf War. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so absolutely. Just with any traditional business, any business in general, there are, like you said, peaks and valleys. And when the Gulf War hit, which was 91, we had a 1-year-old and a newborn, and literally our phone stopped ringing at our shop.
Wow.
Literally stopped. People didn't want to spend discretionary income. They didn't know if we were going into a full-blown war, and everything changed. Other tenants were skipping town, not sticking with their rent.
But not you.
Not us, I know. We just felt, you know what, the right thing to do is to stay in business, keep paying our employees, but it came at an expense because we got a ton of credit card debt just to pay the employees. We were getting loans, and before you know it, we just really finally, after our lease was over, had to close the shop and bring it home. So we actually brought it home for a while, worked it mobily, but that didn't last long.
Sometimes they say there's a blessing in every curse. So I'm sure you didn't see it coming when you were riding that beautiful wave buying your house. But what a beautiful story, because after that, you were inspired to totally switch gears. Tell us a little bit about what you decided to do. And by the way, thank you to your husband for his service.
Aww.
And anybody who is a police wife watching, it is such a special, important role to support not only your family, but your husband. And I know you mentioned that you sometimes were quiet about that. Some people, for their safety, explain that.
Yeah. So, what we got into, we both said, you know what, let's just get traditional jobs. Let's put our college degrees to work. He became a police officer. I became a school teacher. So it was funny. We went from entrepreneur to basically government employees. But what people don't know, and I didn't know about police work, is you do have to be careful. Generally, you don't work in the same city. My husband didn't work in the same city that he was employed in, because you could be out at the movies and somebody that maybe you arrested sees you there and follows you home. Crazy things like that happen.
Very scary, actually.
Very scary. So we had to be quiet about it. And I was kind of taught, and this is definitely something that's still very prevalent, to not tell anyone that your spouse is a police officer, just for safety, for their safety, for your friend's safety. If you're in maybe a big crowded restaurant, you don't want to announce to the world. It's kind of a shame, because law-abiding citizens really love the police, but it's what you have to worry about, who's listening. So
and speaking of who's listening, while you were supporting not only your career in teaching and your husband, you had an idea to get into a side hustle. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I did. Because when we closed our shop, we were devastated, because we saw that as the American dream, the way you could get ahead in America, not working for someone else, but having our own business. So we were looking. We'd always kept our eye out. So my husband actually became a photographer. He did a lot of sports photography. And then I actually dabbled in candles. So I was selling some candles actually with a company and was successful there and realized, ooh, this is a great way to have a business where there isn't the traditional overhead that
Right.
we have. Right.
Hence the dream of the side hustle.
Yes, exactly. And then a friend of ours shared a skincare company with us, and we were blown away by the caliber of people that were involved. The CEO was a success in the industry. He'd taken the gotchas out of some of these direct sales companies that are out there, just having to buy a ton of inventory, keep that on hand. And there's so many different gotchas that the price point to get started stops people from getting started, and so many, many, many things that he was getting it right. He was starting a company that was completely different. And so we locked arms, and here we are today.
Well, you're very, very humble. Here you are today with an empire.
Yes.
So let's let viewers at home be truly inspired. How did that happen, and what is going on today?
Yeah.
Fast forward to today.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So we are $1 million earners with the company, and we've helped many, many thousands of people have successful businesses because we're their mentor. That was one thing we noticed in traditional business. We didn't have anyone to help us. If you were trying to find somebody that would help you, that was in your space, you were their competition, and they're not going to give you their secrets. Where in direct sales, you actually have a mentor, which when they help you, it benefits them to a tiny, tiny degree, but you get the lion's share. And so with that, we just found our total niche of helping people, which that's what John always wanted to do as a police officer as well, was to help people. And so we actually retired him because we created this side gig that was bringing in great income. He was able to walk away 9 years earlier than planned.
9 years. Power to the lady of the house. I know it was a team effort, but that is so flipping cool.
Yeah.
And I also know, speaking of powerful switches, you decided later on, especially during COVID, to come out as a police wife. Tell me why you made that decision.
Yeah. So before we retired him, I was just trying to maneuver life, a young mom, caring for kids, keeping everything on the down low. And it was tough. And I didn't have anyone kind of guiding me. I didn't come from a law enforcement family. And during COVID, there was so much ugliness that was coming out, as we all saw. And I get that there are bad apples, but 99.99% of police officers are not. They got started in their occupation because they wanted to help people. And I was tired of seeing the bashing, and particularly on Instagram, on a lot of the social media, a lot of the younger police wives were coming out. They were saying, you know what, I'm standing behind my husband, and he's not who you say they are, as in general. And so I thought, you know what, I need to be loud and proud with what we've done, how we've raised a very successful family. Our kids are grown now, but how we navigated that, I would have loved to have a book that I could read, a guide, when things were happening that I didn't know who to turn to, that I could actually get some help. So that's why I decided to write this book.
Amazing. Tell us about your new, very first book that's coming out so soon.
Yes. So it's called The Police Wife Guide, and very simple title because I really want people to get information from it in a simplified way. It's just 15 chapters. That's it. Helping a police spouse or first responder, because they have the same issues that we do with the long night shifts, the long shifts in general, no time off, overtime, working holidays. It's tough. And so this guide is going to help you with that. I also talk about marital challenges, the way to be the most help to your spouse, but then also to stand up for yourself and your self-worth and maybe some of your self-care that we as women all need.
Yes.
So it's just all in one.
Super inspiring. Yes. And I like to acknowledge your shine. First of all, it took a lot of courage as a young adult to open up your own company. But I think many times in life when we have things go awry, or as I always like to say, a swift kick in the pants with losing a business that we thought would be around for a long time, people don't rise up. They may stay in a corporate job for forever. And what I'd like to acknowledge you and your husband for is being a stand for what we say, and you'll hear about this in another segment coming up soon. You're what's next, not let's stop, but what's next.
Yeah.
And time again, you've proven that. And I also have to acknowledge you for having the courage to shine through adversity across the world. Sometimes in dark times, we hold back. We don't speak up out of fear for judgment, as you said. And in your case, a legitimate concern for safety. And I would like to not only thank you for having the courage to vulnerably share about those peaks and valleys, but I would like to end this segment, and I'm so sad we're running out of time, but with you having a moment to tell viewers at home what it took. And if they aspire, maybe they have a business or they've gone through trials to try to figure out their next chapter as a business coach and somebody who recruits and employs many people in your direct sales business, what would you say to them?
I would say find a good coach. Actually, reach out. Coaches are worth everything. They're golden. And if we had to do it over again with our first business, we would have had a coach then. I don't even know if that was possible. But look for a mentor that's where you want to be. That also is huge to me. I see a lot of coaches out there. If you followed them home and looked in their bank account, looked where they live, they're not who you aspire to be. So you should tag on all the coattails of someone who's where you want to be. So
Thank
that's my
you.
best advice.
So inspirational and so true, because time and time again, it's lonely when things aren't going well. And it takes a lot of strength and courage to ask for help, but sometimes it's the magic, those moments really, really can define us, hold us back, or in your case, become a choice to shine in a big way. So thank you for coming on the Meredith Show.
Absolutely.
Sharing your amazing story. Again, please contact Vikki if you are looking for not just perhaps a side hustle, but a change and some courage. And your beautiful book is coming out very soon. And we encourage you to reach out to pre-order or buy it right now. Right?
Exactly. You can pre-order.
There you go. And wherever you are, if you're watching at home, we ask that you take a little time to think about you or somebody that you love who has an amazing story. And most importantly, don't keep it to yourself. Take a little time to share the love and your shine and their shine. And please take a moment to share this segment with somebody you love. Vikki Downey, thank you so much for being on the show and for being a stand of courage, vulnerability, and crushing it in your goals in life.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The Meredith Show is brought to you by La Ventana Treatment Programs, located just outside Los Angeles in Thousand Oaks, California. This episode was shot on location at the Interval House for Teen Residential Mental Health Treatment for Young Women. Be sure to follow The Meredith Show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.